Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Mayor Jerry Cook. Today we're talking about both the July 7th and our July 21st City Council meetings. Thanks for joining us in studio today.
Absolutely. It's great to be here.
Yeah, summer, I was just thinking wow. It seemed like March and April and whatever just went very slow, and now it seems like summer is just flying.
It's, blink of an eye. Yep. I was just looking at that. All of a sudden I went, oh my gosh, we're coming up on August already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I guess it's good that it's going faster now than it was in the spring. We can keep getting 2020 behind us here. We had two meetings. Our July 21st was relatively short, I think. Maybe, did we even hit 20 minutes?
About as short as we've ever had, I think.
Yeah.
And if we would have skipped other business, we would have been done in less than 15, I think.
Yeah. I was actually wondering what our shortest meeting ever was. I don't know. Can't be much shorter than about 15 minutes. But
no, I don't think so.
This was around 20 minutes maybe, I think, or just slightly over.
Yep.
All right, well, let's talk about the couple things that were on this agenda. First off, we haven't had one of these in a while. We had swearing in of two new police officers.
Yeah, it's been long enough that we actually kind of forgot the procedure.
Yeah.
But it was great. Two great candidates, two great young officers, and it's always interesting, when the chief brings them up in front and introduces them to us and introduces them to the city, and I love how he always goes through and explains, this is the citizen's badge. This is Coon Rapids' badge, and lets them know the responsibility that comes with it, the trust that's being placed in them, and they just seem like a couple of great young men. And they're, I know the first one, Andrew, his wife pinned him, and I believe the second one, I think that was his wife, maybe it was his girlfriend.
Yeah, one of them was his girlfriend. Yep.
Oh, that would have been the second one then.
Yep.
John Ormston. First one was Andrew Olson. Both of them have some real serious connections to Coon Rapids. So, like, kind of homeboys.
Yeah,
so.
That's great. Or maybe it was possibly fiance, one of the two. But welcome aboard to them, and you couldn't do the customary handshake. I know they normally go around and shake the council's hand, but obviously with the pandemic, we did not do that.
Yeah. So. Well, even swearing them in, it was like, how long is my arm to hold the mic? And it was so tough to not, shake their hand afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do what you do. You make your adjustments.
Yeah, but it's great to be able to introduce them to a community, especially in the times like this with policing kind of in the spotlight, to be able to show off, our two new officers who will be patrolling the streets here.
Yeah, and I just like the fact that the second officer, John Ormston, that now maybe we've created some controversy for him. Whether it was a girlfriend or a fiance, we might be putting a little pressure on him.
Well, yes, I know. We'll have to follow that one and maybe have an update here someday. All right. Under the consent agenda, Council adopted a resolution establishing a new polling location. This is for Precinct 5-4 or 54. And this is basically related to COVID. Due to COVID, this change had to be made.
Yeah, it's nice when things happen or can happen, even with COVID. Yeah. But this was another one of those changes that came because of COVID. Yeah. The YMCA wasn't able to have the different people come through their building for the election, so we moved out of the YMCA, and the pastor Tim Sanders at Spirit of Grace Church on Robinson Drive over there by Home Furniture.
Woodcrest Drive, right?
Woodcrest Drive. Yeah, thank you, Woodcrest Drive. I could see the street. I just didn't drive as far as in my head to see the sign. Woodcrest Drive. The pastor Tim Sanders graciously opened up the church for a second precinct. We already have one precinct that votes there, and now 5-4 will be also voting there. So if you currently or previously voted at the YMCA, your new polling place is probably going to be Spirit of Grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this just happened fairly recently, so normally there's more of a leadway as far as informing the people, but just to get it out there in case you do vote there, Precinct 54 will be at Spirit of Grace Church, which is located at 10110 Woodcrest Drive.
There you go. Yep, and everybody that votes there should still receive their little postcard in the mail.
Okay.
And of course, if you're not really sure, you can always come into the city now and vote early.
Yes.
Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Yep. in-person absentee is basically City Hall hours currently.
Yeah.
They are going to be open for a Saturday, which is August 8th. And I believe it was around 9 to noon or something like that. Or
Something.
check those hours. So if you can't make it during the weekday and want to come, that would be the Saturday right before the primary election. And somewhere around that first week in August, you can start putting your ballot actually into a machine there.
Right.
Rather than right now, I think,
It's
leave your
basically
ballot.
absentee. Yeah.
Yeah. So you vote and then
Put it in an envelope, and then on the date, then they take it out of the envelope, run it through the machine,
process it.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll be going on, like we said, up until primary election day.
Right.
All right, moving forward, that is all we had actually from our July 21st meeting. Like we said, it was not very long.
If we wouldn't have spent a little time talking another business, we would have been out of there even sooner.
Right, right. All right, back to our first meeting of the month, which was Tuesday, July 7th. One of the first items we want to talk about there was an appointment to one of our advisory commissions.
Yeah. And our advisory commissions, for the most part, haven't been meeting in person this year.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes.
And in fact, it made it even difficult to have an appointment because there's kind of this little trial thing, where they meet with the group a couple times and make sure everything is working well. So at any rate, we were able to officially make the appointment of Zachary, and I have not yet heard the exact pronunciation, so I'm probably still wrong. I don't know, but it's Zachary Juntanen to the Parks and Recreation Commission, and we just want to thank everybody that serves on those commissions because they do the yeoman work for so many things around the city.
Yep.
Parks and Rec is a big one, for all of our keeping a vital and great park system and trail system.
Yeah, and folks, if you're interested, we always make this pitch, I think, when we talk about this, but if you're interested in serving on any of the advisory commissions, you can fill out an application and express your interest in which commissions you'd like to serve on and put that on file, and then when openings come up, they would contact you.
Right, when you get the application, there's like 10 different boxes or 8 boxes, and you can put 1, 2, 3. You can put your order of preference, and from the Sustainability Commission to the Planning Commission to the Arts Commission to the they're all listed on there. Charter commissions. Okay, I'm going to stop now because I'll never get through all of them anyway.
There's a lot of them, like you said. But do they do vital work for you guys and make recommendations to the council on a lot of different topics? And always need volunteers.
Yep, and it's a really good way to get involved in your community.
Yeah.
You're providing a valuable service, and suddenly you're much more involved, and you have a greater awareness of what's going on, and yeah.
And they'll get you sucked in, and then eventually you'll want to run for city council. It just seems to be the way it goes, right? All right, council adopted a resolution accepting a donation for Sand Creek Park.
Yeah. In this case, it was Don Oakleson, and again, pronunciation maybe, I don't know. But she donated $700 for a park bench memorial to her son at Sand Creek Park. And it's a very nice tribute you can do for somebody. And it's important for folks to know that that's available, that we've got trails along, or park benches, many parks.
Yeah.
Now I'm skipping out how many we have, but we have a lot.
Yes.
And a lot of opportunities for benches and various ways to make donations. Right. And if anybody's interested, they can contact Greg Engels in our Parks Department.
All right. Council approved the appointment of election judges, approved salaries for the primary election, and set a canvass date for the primary election. Feels like we were just talking about the election, but here we go.
There we go. Yep. And so every year we have to authorize the salaries for all the various positions. And really, this is just a good reminder that it's another way to get involved with the community, to do your civic duty, and we need election judges. So the city clerk's office, Joan Lensmeyer, if you're interested, contact them, and they'll provide the training and get you signed up, and you can do your civic duty and make a few extra dollars working the primary election.
Yeah, and I imagine this year they do need probably more folks. Some of the regulars may not be kind of doing their duty with COVID. And
oh, wait, due to COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Our favorite here.
Due to COVID, yeah, I imagine some folks may not want to come in and do that, especially they skew older a lot of times. So there is probably a need. So if you're interested and want to help out, contact our city clerk, and she'll get you set up with what you need to do.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. And that's actually all the items that we had to talk about. There was a couple other things, but a little bit of the minutia that we're not gonna go over here. But we did actually, open mic was fairly lengthy at this meeting. We did get quite a few people here to talk about the Saturday night cruise on Coon Rapids Boulevard, which has kind of been an ongoing topic here in the last couple months.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually a local resident that this was his brainchild, and he's the one that kind of kicked it off on social media. And especially when everybody was really locked down and nothing was open, starting in April, it was really a night of normal. It just felt really good. You'd get along Coon Rapids Boulevard and you'd see people sitting on both sides. It was like a parade. And it started because they couldn't have their regular car shows anywhere. And it became so popular.
Yeah.
And some of the local residents that live near there tire of the car noise, and there's some troublemakers with it, over revving, or, I felt particularly bad about one car that, the guy would trigger it so it would backfire. And I heard from one of the residents that it terrified his dog, and I thought, yeah, that's a tough one, because I remember, that's a difficult one. So they're really working hard to police themselves. You'll see people standing along with cardboard signs that say, "Quiet if you want to keep this up," or whatever. They had much more clever. I just don't remember how they were phrased, but that was the idea. So we've worked with them, made some accommodations. They now fill out a permit, and they take the grass area in front of the ice center. So now they actually they have a place to park the cars. They bring them in and they go, "Here's 6 feet, stay 6 feet apart, socially distance." There's some biffs there. There's some garbage cans. And that's one of the things they adopted immediately, was the cruise would be Saturday night, and they would put a crew together Sunday morning, and they would pick up the whole boulevard. The boulevards never looked so good. I mean, they picked up stuff that it was not from them. But again, we had resident pushback because of the noise, because of the traffic. One Saturday night, Councilmember Demmer took a screenshot of Google highway maps, and the whole region was green except Coon Rapids Boulevard was solid red. It was the only traffic backup in the whole region.
Yeah.
So at any rate, people are adapting. They're finding if you want to get along the boulevard Saturday night, you should probably use an alternative route if you actually want to get somewhere.
Right.
The cruisers are trying to be, for the most part, very respectful. At least the organizers and the club organizers are. They're trying to avoid the hospital. They're trying to cut the cruise off early. They're trying to promote the businesses, but there's only really a couple that are really benefiting so far. There was a resident that had spoken at a council meeting earlier, very heartfelt, that the cruisers should stop, and basically this was the response night where the cruisers came out and talked to us and how important it was, and I've been hearing from a lot of residents in support of it. It's a tough one, but it's brought a lot of life back to Coon Rapids Boulevard, and it's brought some really good kudos for the community from all around the region, from people that travel here for it. So I'm not actually sure where my point is anymore when I started this to now, but that's kind of where we're at. We're the council, the majority of the council, the consensus is let's try and make this work. Let's help them be successful. To that end, we've increased enforcement along there, and provided, I believe they provided a radio or at least a contact for the club organizers so they can reach out if they go, hey, this car is being a problem. And they're applying as much peer pressure on their other cruisers as possible. Videos of the cars, publicly shaming them. So they're working really hard to keep the noise down and to get them to leave at 9 o'clock. It's done. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Get out of here. Okay. And so 6 to 9 Saturday evenings, usually starts a little earlier. And it's rolling, and
we're not
hopefully,
sure how long it's going to go for.
yeah, it seems like it was a date in September, but I don't remember now.
Okay.
Yeah, because they had, yeah, I don't remember.
But at least through the end of the summer, it sounds like they'll be doing it. And then
Yep.
they won't continue and be cruising down there in December or January.
You wouldn't think so, yeah, unless your car's got really good aggressive tires and a good heater.
I imagine those will all be in storage by then. All right. Let's talk about our one event going on, I guess, besides the cruise, our one other event that's taking place in Coon Rapids this summer, and that is the Farmers Market.
Farmers Market started July 15th. You know, they wait for the harvest kind of to start.
Yep.
So the Farmers Market started down at the Coon Rapids Ice Center Wednesday, July 15th, and it runs Wednesdays through probably September, October. I don't remember when. And it's 3 to 6 in the afternoon.
Okay.
So, yeah, again, it's a little normalcy.
Yeah, every Wednesday, like I said, Ice Center through October 7th, I believe, is the last date.
Okay.
So that's that. One other thought, I mean, I think we've already said this, but we can say it again. The rest of the events have pretty much been canceled. There was hope maybe we'd have some summer concerts. Those have been canceled. Our Summer in the City meetings have been canceled. Night to Unite, which is something we have the first Tuesday in August, that has been pushed back to the first Tuesday in October.
Right.
So if folks want to register for that, the police department is taking registrations. And actually, if you pre-register by July 31st, you can be entered into a drawing for a prize pack for your party. So that's coming up here in about just over a week. So I want to put that out there if you're looking to get your gathering set. Get it in now, and by doing that early as well, you can sign up for visits from the police and fire departments on that night.
Right. And then I would also encourage folks to check out either Coon Rapids or the Anoka County's street reconstruction, highway construction sites, because there's still a lot of projects going on around Coon Rapids. They've got a mill and overlay project going on Coon Rapids Boulevard yet this year.
Yeah.
They've been doing Round Lake Boulevard, which has been causing traffic jams. We've got all the construction on Hanson north of 10.
Yeah.
We've got the Hanson Bridge opening. You know, that's still one lane each direction, but the ribbon cutting on that will be August 4th.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I saw it too. When you drive down 10, you can see it. Crooked Lake Boulevard looks like it's all torn up too.
Yes, yeah, Crooked Lake Boulevard north of Northdale Boulevard in front of like Morris By.
Yeah.
All that's under reconstruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the mistake of drifting in there, and I went, "Oh, this is full-blown construction, man." It
seems like a lot, and maybe it's just because both segments of Hanson are still under construction, and then you add all the other stuff, or like Round Lake as well, and it's a busy summer of construction, but we'll get through it.
We'll get through it. You know, and Coon Rapids Boulevard down there by the Port Riverwalk, you know, with the new homes coming in, all of that is getting done. We're going to have to confess, you know, when the county redid Foley Boulevard, we gave them a really hard time because when it was done, they ended up with mailboxes in the middle of the sidewalk, and we went, "How did you do that?" Well, now I just came down Coon Rapids Boulevard, and we have streetlights in the middle of the sidewalk, right by Lily Pad down there. Then you're going, "Oh no, we're not any." How did we do that? But the problem was there was a very tight little buffer between Lily Pad and the boulevard, and so the streetlights are there, and it's a bad spot for a sidewalk anyway, right next to the boulevard there, and you're kind of you're stuck in this like channel because there's a fence there. So now you've got the traffic lights in the middle of the side, or the street lights in the middle of the sidewalk. But eventually we'll be redoing Al Flynn Park behind.
Okay.
So my guess is we're going to end up kind of doing an alternate sidewalk route through there, get it away from the boulevard, bring it behind the businesses there.
Right.
It shouldn't be any longer, and it makes more sense.
Yeah, because I mean the boulevard's a pretty busy place to have a sidewalk that close to 3 lanes of traffic.
Yeah. And if you're walking west, you're going to be walking with the cars coming behind you, and you're always going to be turning around anyway. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, that was little confession there.
Okay.
And that was us. That was a city project on that side, so we have no one to blame.
Okay. All right. You heard it here.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, that's all we got.
I don't think so.
You guys are getting into budget negotiations here, or you'll be getting more budget information come here in August. Obviously, decisions have to be made about the levy for next year, and then I know they've also been looking probably at the budget for this year and implications from all the COVID stuff.
Yeah, and then we got the $4.8 million from the CARES Act, and so we're working through right now, figuring out how we might be able to help economic development. But you have to get all the stipulations, and you got to make sure you're jumping through all the hoops, and so we're gonna whatever we can do to help our local businesses with those funds, we'll figure out how to do that.
Okay.
Because then if we don't spend them, they go back, or we can dedicate them to the county for their social projects or something. So we'll work that out, and then we tweaked a little bit. Like our fire truck that we allocated funds for it, $770,000, but instead we've approved bonding for it, just in case we need that money. Okay. So yeah, we're doing our due diligence, looking at our future and not knowing how this is going to impact us long range. Right. We're trying to make the adjustments to keep even a steady hand on the tiller.
Yeah, well, that's good. And we'll be talking obviously more about the budget here in the coming months.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you for joining us here today.
Absolutely.
Thank you at home for watching. We'll see you back here after our 2 meetings in August.